Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lunchtime Detroit Lions Talk, brought to you by the Detroit Lions on the Prowl. And today we're going to go into two of the favorite head coaching candidates for our Detroit Lions by you, the fans, that have been talking to us over and over again about these two individuals. We're going to go into that. We're going to go into the injury report. We're going to have dessert with Kurt. All that coming your way. But first, I want to introduce to you the graduate of the Dan Patrick School of Broadcasting, and my co-host, Kurt Steele.
Well, thank you for that warm introduction, Jim. Welcome to the show, everybody. Detroit Lions on the Prowl. We are your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the page. We appreciate you, but that subscription helps this content get to more Lions fans just like yourself. Hit the like button, comment, share it. We appreciate it. Now let's get this thing started right now. Hey, welcome back to the show. It is time to get at these comment cards. Jim, you up first.
I'm up first, and first today is Anthony Gentile. I hope I'm saying that right, or it could be Gentle. I honestly think they should trade everyone except AP, Swift, Okuda, Hawkinson, and Trufant. Oh no, they can get rid of Trufant. I'm not good. And
they can get rid of AD too. He can go.
And I don't know, because you really want to get rid of Frank Ragnow, and you really want to get rid of Jonah Jackson, and there's some pieces here, guy. There's some pieces.
Yeah, I don't want to get rid of Aurier. Aurier is the best
Tracy
corner
Walker,
we have.
I still think is good. He's just out of position.
Yeah,
there's a lot of guys I would keep.
Yeah, I understand that the premise to dump everyone, and here is one thing that you have to look at. The cap is going to dictate who stays and who goes in some situations, because if it's a huge, like Matthew Stafford, it's a huge cap hit to let him go. You may be able, unless someone's unwilling to take on the majority of that contract, it's going to be hard to kind of move Matthew Stafford. I'm just saying, for all those people who want Stafford gone, it's going to be a tough task, at least next season. All right, next up, Stanley Kazmersky. All right. Jim Caldwell, coach. Tony Dungy, GM. Two great men.
Great men, yes.
Great men, yes.
Tony Dungy, no. He's out of football for too long. I don't even think he wants to come back. Caldwell coming back, I don't think that would fit here.
I'm not a good, as much as I like Jim Caldwell, I think his time, when we moved on for him the first time prematurely, I think his time in Detroit was done.
I agree with that. Mm-hmm. All right, Jimoli's YT, Louis Riddick, GM, Bienemy coach. I can't argue with you there. That's some really good choices. We're going to go through Eric Bienemy today, so that we'll go through that. Louis Riddick, we already did, but yeah, both good choices.
Yeah, R. Savigny. All right, Robert Saleh. We will talk about him today as well.
You guys are leading us right into the show, which is amazing. Charles Polson, Dorsey was the GM in Kansas City when he drafted Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Veach took over after Mahomes' true rookie year. He didn't play. Then went to the Browns and drafted Baker, Denzel Ward, Nick Chubb, and traded for Odell Beckham Jr. He was also in Green Bay and did a lot there. We are going to do Dorsey tomorrow, so we can look forward to that. But yeah, he's an interesting name, and we have a lot of good candidates for this job. And watch us get the wrong one.
Yeah, you know how we do it. All right, Zach J. Bottom line: good teams are built through the draft, not free agency. Fair point. They're mostly built through the draft, and they add some pieces through free agency. They don't build through free agency. So that is a really solid take. I really agree with that. So if you have a horrible year, if you have to be horrible for a year to dump these contracts for draft capital, do it. Our fan base has already accepted that we are officially rebuilding. I believe most people do.
Yeah. There's an interesting take in here, too, because we're talking about the salary cap and all this stuff and, dumping Stafford or trading Stafford or dumping, Kenny Golladay and the big contracts. Well, if we're not going to be very active in free agency, we don't need all that money.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we're building through the draft, I mean, obviously we have to field a team,
Yeah.
But if we know we're going to be in the crapper next year, I don't see why we go into free agency expecting to get a lot of great people. We're trying to get young people to go build this young core. That's what we're looking to do.
I think that it's going to be, we stated it yesterday. Actually, we stated after the firing, it's going to be a rebuild because you're going to have to, they're already tore it down to the studs. So it's time to take out some of the construction trash from Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia.
Yeah, true. Mike Townsend, the next coach better be Robert Saleh. He is an actual defensive mastermind. That's a Patricia slam. After the ringing endorsement from Richard Sherman saying he's a leader of men, keep Stafford to mentor the new QB, Golladay, Carry-On, who I think we kind of gave up on. Get rid of AP and Marvin Jones. Draft pass rushers and linebackers. Get rid of Trufant too. Dude's always getting roasted. He's right about that. What does everyone think about Okudah? Could he be a shutdown corner? I would say no.
He could be a shutdown safety.
He's going to probably be a great safety. But I don't think he's a good
solid tackler, good size. He adds a little bit of because he's still kind of growing a little bit, so he adds some poundage, some strength to that core, that frame. He could be a really good safety.
I agree with that too. Keep Stafford to mentor the new QB. We could. I mean, we could get rid of him too. I really don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen at this point. We'll see.
That contract situation with him is going to be an issue.
Yeah, like I said though, if we're not going to be active in free agency, what do we need the extra money for?
This is very true.
Yeah, we could survive a year or two during a rebuild before we're trying to put big name free agents with the core that we build.
Yeah. So, all right. Last but not least, my man Nick Burke. What up, Nick? Hey, do you think if Chris Spielman is the GM and Robert Saleh is the coach, that Stafford is gone? Think about it. If those two guys come to town, there is no way those two beefcakes. Wow, I haven't heard that term in a while. Are not going to be doing the next few Ford Tough commercials. Stafford's putting his kids in the car seat and ripped GM and head coach picking up a skid of cider blocks.
Cinder blocks, I think.
Cinder block. Oh, yes.
So what do you say? What he's saying here is do you think?
Help me explain. Help me get this one because I'm not.
Okay, so the Stafford commercials with the Ford trucks, he puts his kids in the car. He's the family guy. And these two guys, Spielman and Saleh, come in, and they're these tough, rugged football guys, and they're be busting up cinder blocks and carrying a skid of this. And, bringing that toughness to those commercials. Do you think Stafford's gone? Yeah,
I don't get those commercials down here in North Carolina. I'm sorry, I hadn't seen those commercials down here in Carolina. Okay. We get the local Carolina Ford dealers down here.
Well, that's probably true. Okay, that does it for the comment cards, and now we're going to go to Kurt with the long-winded injury report.
Hey, let's get at this thing. Jeff Okudah with a shoulder, no practice. Kenny Golladay. Man, we need him back. The Galladays are coming up. No practice as well for that hip. Quintez Cephas, not injury related, no practice, so he should be back on the field today. Fine, yeah. All right, defensive lineman Deshaun Hand with a groin, no practice. Christian Jones with the knee.
That's cool.
He's had that for a while, but he's still continuing to play. No practice. They probably just giving him a rest day. Defensive end Austin Bryant. He was actually there, surprisingly, with the thigh.
Wow.
Danny Amendola was back on the field, limited with a hip injury. DeAndre Swift was back on the field as well. Say he looked good, limited with the concussion. Matthew Stafford was catching passes catching the snaps out of the shotgun. They didn't have him on the center doing practice. He was limited with that thumb injury. And a big return to the practice field, full practice for cornerback Mike Ford. It makes a ton of difference. We just put 2 players on the injured reserve, Danny Shelton and Desmond Trufant, where it really makes a difference with Mike Ford coming back, because we're just losing defensive backs left and right. So with Okudah look like he's going to be out, we needed Mike Ford to come back.
Absolutely. Yeah, we needed somebody on the other side. Mike Ford's underrated too. I think he's a good corner. I really do. I think he's a good corner.
I think he is a really good corner.
He's always come in and played well when he's come in to play for us. So totally. Yeah. Now we're going to get into these head coaches that you guys have been talking about, Robert Saleh and Eric Bieniemy. I'm going to start this out with Eric Bieniemy, and as ESPN broadcaster Chris Berman used to say, sleeping with Bienemy, which is reference to the 1991 film Sleeping with the Enemy. So that's where that comes from. Eric Bieniemy is 51 years old. He's the current offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. He went to Colorado, and he was drafted in 1991. He was a second-round pick, the 39th overall as a running back, to the San Diego Chargers, where he played from 1991 to 1994. Then in 1995, he went to the Cincinnati Bengals till 1998. And then in 1999, his last year, he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. In 1990, he was a national champion. In 1990, also, he was a consensus All-American and also that year Heisman Trophy finalist. So he's very successful where he goes. Now, as a coach, he went back to his alma mater and went to Colorado. He was the running backs coach there. Then he went to UCLA from 2003 to 2005. As also the running backs coach. Then he went to the NFL from 2006 to 2009, and he was a running back coach for the Minnesota Vikings. And also in 2010, he was promoted to assistant head coach and running backs coach. Then he went back to Colorado as the offensive coordinator at college from 2011 and 2012 season. Then he went to the Kansas City Chiefs in 2013 to 2017 as the running back coach, then got promoted to the offensive coordinator and was the Super Bowl champion. So he has an impressive resume. He doesn't have a lot of offensive coordinator experience. But he calls plays under Andy Reid, and there are some people that give a little pause about him just because he may or may not be the offensive genius that we think, because we know Andy Reid is. We'd have to see him do it on his own, but he has a resume. I don't think it's the most impressive resume I've seen, but I like him.
I like him as well. And one thing I will say is with Andy Reid has a very impressive coaching tree.
He does
under him. So
a lot more impressive than Matt Patricia.
Yeah,
or Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick. Yeah, I think he teaches his assistants how to coach, and that's the one thing that's different between him and Matt Patricia. Bill Belichick. I don't think he teaches his assistants how to coach. I think he has them run his system and doesn't really give them like kind of professional guidance. I think that's a big difference between him and Andy Reid, where Andy Reid gives his assistants professional guidance, and I think that helps. You can look at Doug Peterson and all those other guys that have had success, and some of them won Super Bowls before Andy Reid won his. So, there you go. All right. Next up, my man, Mr. Robert Saleh. Now he is the current defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. He is 41 years old. He went to college at Northern Michigan University, where he played tight end. He also got a master's degree in finance from Michigan State University. So he is a Sparty. All right. So he was a 4-year starter as a tight end at Northern Michigan University. And a little bit of background on him. If you don't already know, he grew up in Dearborn, born and raised in Dearborn, about 2 miles from the Allen Park facility. Child of Lebanese descendants, and that's a very big community there in the Dearborn area. So that's one of the largest in the country as far as the Lebanese population in the U.S. And he has a wife, Sanaa, and they have 6 children, 4 boys and 2 girls. Wow. Now let's get into his coaching experience. Now, while he was getting his master's degree, he was a defensive assistant at Michigan State. From 2002 to 2003. He then moved to Central Michigan, where he was a defensive assistant in 2004. Same at University of Georgia in 2005. Moved over as a coaching intern in 2005 as well to the Houston Texans. Moved to the pro game. Now, he was a defensive quality control coach from 2006 to 2008. Then he became at the Houston Texans, and then again at the Houston Texans, he changed positions again, got promoted to linebackers coach, assistant linebackers coach from 2009 to 2010. Then here's where he kind of had some success. 2011 to 2013, he moved back to the defensive quality position, coach position at Seattle, where he won a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks during that time. Jacksonville, he moved to Jacksonville in 2014 as an assistant linebackers coach for the Jaguars. And from 2017 to present, he has been the leader of one of the best defenses in the NFL at San Francisco. That defense in San Francisco is the main reason why they were in the Super Bowl last year.
This guy reminds me a little bit of Jim Schwartz's intensity.
Yes, he is very intense
fire. I love the fire for this guy. I think he'd be a perfect fit here in Detroit. I really do. I think he'd be a perfect fit. Being from here, knowing the area. Yes,
he knows the area. That is a very big deal for me. Being from Michigan myself, I live there now, but that makes a difference when you have a person who's established in the community. Now he actually already kind of a folk hero there in that area at Dearborn anyway, because of the success he had locally as a coach at Northern Michigan, and at Michigan State and at Central Michigan. So he already has some folklore there. Went to high school in Dearborn, so he's a homegrown talent. Now here is my pause with that. Steve Mariucci.
Oh, yeah, don't say that name. Mooch was not that good here. Yeah, he was from San Francisco too. He was from Iron Mountain, I believe.
Yeah, he's a Michigan, grew up a Lions fan as well. So coming over from the 49ers, I'm not saying
he was a head coach already, and he had
he was a head coach. Yeah, so he came over to Detroit because his beloved home team Lions.
Yeah, but didn't he have to deal with? Wasn't Millen the general manager at the time?
Yes, Millen was a
player.
Yeah. He didn't have a lot of success.
He didn't have a lot to work with either.
He brought Jeff Garcia over to the Lions as well, and that didn't work out. That experiment didn't work out. He was always undersized. I was never really sold on Jeff Garcia as a quarterback in the NFL, but that's just my pause with that. Now I will say this: he's a different guy. He's a defensive coach, not an offensive coach, because Mariucci was an offensive guy when he came over to Detroit. He has a chance to build a team with the new general manager.
Yeah, I don't have the same concerns. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that's the difference between him and Mooch.
Yeah, I don't have the same concerns about him because I think that Millen was the ultimate handicapped.
Another
thing I want to say about the coaching things, as we go through the coaches, remember that the GM is actually the most important hire because he's going to hire the coach. Usually,
if they do it right.
Usually the organization does not hire the coach, the general manager does. And that's why we were going through a lot of GMs, but we kept hearing these names over and over and over. So we're like, you know what? We're going to give the people what the people want.
That's right. That's what we do right here.
That's what we do here at Lions on the Prowl. So I don't know. What do you guys think about these head coaches? I mean, leave comments down below. You're great at commenting and helping out with all of that.
Oh, my goodness. We really appreciate that, man. Yeah, you guys show up, man. And like my man Jim said, y'all show up and show out every time that we do the comments for the videos, man. We get so many new people. We try to get on as many as we can during the show.
Yeah. We have 70 some comments. It's hard to pick 4 or 5.
we can't read them all during the show. We're going to get to you. Keep commenting because of the fact that if we read all the comments, that'll be the whole show.
Definitely. So now I'm going to go to the question of the day. And the question of the day today is, what head coach do you want hired here in the D? So which coach do you want hired to take over the Lions head coaching position here. I think it's more important, I'm just going to say this, that the GM is right. Because as you said about Mooch, that's a very, very good analogy with him and Saleh. But the big difference is the general manager. If we get the general manager position right, and the head coach has his players and and good players to work with. I mean good players, because you really need to build that team for kind of the coaching style. But you also want to get players that have that potential to become a star, not just safe picks and B and C players and stuff like that. Start drafting people that we think are going to develop into the superstars of the future for the Detroit Lions. Yeah. And so that GM hire is just so important.
So really important.
So now we go to my favorite part of the show. It is dessert with my man Kurt.
Okay, it is time for some tasty morsels, people, and changes afoot in Allen Park. The reports coming out of practice yesterday by one Taylor Decker is that new interim head coach, you know who he is, Darrell Bevell, has really increased the pace of the offense. Nice. He went back to individual drills during the practice period, something they didn't do very much under Matt Patricia, but he wanted to increase the pace of the offense. And he says, quote, "A fast offense is a weapon against any defense."
Absolutely. The Bears defense was kind of chastised last week by their head coach, and found that particularly interesting coming out of Chicago. But anyway, guys, we're getting to the end. We really appreciate each and every one of you for watching the video, liking, commenting, sharing the video with your friends. It gets this content out to more people just like yourselves. We really appreciate each and every one of you that rock with us. And you know what? We're going to go to Kurt now to take us home.
Hey, it is always good to be here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl, your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. We had so much fun bringing this content. So you know what you got to do. Leave us a comment down below. If we haven't covered something that you want us to cover, write it down below. Answer the question of the day. Click the notification bell. Subscribe to the channel. You got to know when you're getting this fresh content from us right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. You doing those things help this content, like Jim said, get to more Lions fans just like yourself. It's Thursday morning. We're having a good day here at the Detroit Lions on the Prowl. And check us out. Check me out tonight. I'm doing the Die Hard Den podcast over on my other show. So, don't be afraid to check me out over there with my other co-host, Shawnee J. We try to do some big things over there as well. So check us out, man. That we really appreciate it. And check out the DSA. They do it big. Roundtable tonight, 8:00 over at the DSA YouTube channel. But it's time to get on out of here. And we want you to do. We want you to, whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. Full man Jim, right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. This is Kurt Steele, and we will holler at you real soon.